guided tour through the delicate and often overwhelming balancing act between food indulgences and social acceptance. And now, as always, here are your hosts, Rod Budget and Hugh Gallen.
Hello, I'm Hugh Gallen.
I'm Rod Budget.
We're here to introduce Chewing the Fat, where we will sit down with food experts, movers, and shakers and speak with them about what they do and some of the issues that are important to the hungry dads.
So tonight we're honored to have Jeremy Selwyn, the Chief Snacking Officer with Taquitos.net. Taquitos.net was featured in our Eater's Digest episode, which was episode 22, where we focused on some of our favorite food information sources. They rightly call themselves, and I quote, the crunchiest site on the Interweb. And get this, they've reviewed over 6,772 snacks.
So they had a Cajun Squirrel flavor. The Cajun Squirrel wasn't even that bad. I don't know what Squirrel tastes like.
From 68 countries and 184 snack categories.
I don't know what's down the street from your house. You know what's down the street from your house.
So this is the real deal, folks.
Basically, it's like, you've got a superpower. You can, just by looking, know, obviously, tuna.
Without further ado, here is Hungry Dads Chewing the Fat with Chief Snacking Officer, potato chip expert, and all-around good guy, Jeremy Selwyn of Taquitos.net.
Hello, Jeremy, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, great to be here. And one thing, the number of snacks is increasing all the time. It's actually increased a bunch since I left. Checked in with you guys. It's now 6,785. And by the time that this goes out on the interweb, it'll be even more snacks.
So that's 13 extra snacks, folks, at no price to you. So there are a few reasons that we love Taquitos.net. First of all, it's been around a long time, and it's so comprehensive. It's kind of like the Library of Congress for chips. There are a lot of funny and clever parts to the site, but then the reviews themselves are very useful and reliable. So with that said, just tell us a little bit about Taquitos.net, how it got started, how long you guys have been around. It seems like you do a new review almost every day. Is that right?
Yeah, one or more almost every day. Skip a day here and there, depending on how hungry I am. The site's been around now almost 15 years, and the idea behind the site of trying to find all these weird snacks started about 5 years before that. So I was kind of collecting weird potato chips for about 5 years, and then finally kind of got my act together when I had about 100 of them and put it together on this website. And it's really kind of grown from there to all those numbers we were just talking about, which I had no idea when I started that I would ever find anywhere near that many snacks. You travel and you look and you eat, and there's a lot of snacks. There's always new ones coming out, and there's always crazier ones to be found.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, really.
And you've been at it for so long, you kind of were at the beginning of the internet, or at least the popularity of the internet. I feel like 15 years ago, it was not the internet it is today.
Basically, Taquitos.net and GeoCities were out there at the same time.
I mean, compared to GeoCities, Well, the funny thing is, so we're talking, it was July 2000 when we started the site, and one of the earlier events after the launch of the site was I went to the Snack Expo convention in 2001, the industry convention for the Snack Food Association. I'm talking to some people there kind of explaining what it is that I do, in terms of, we were basically reviewing snacks. And if the same conversation had happened today, there would have been a lot less confusion of, I go on the internet and I write reviews of snacks. 2000, a few people got it, but the internet was much younger. Now people go on the internet and they review everything. In 2000, it was like, you do what? Why?
At this age of the internet, it seems logical and commonplace, but at that time, no one quite knew what the internet was going to be for.
Do you remember kind of the moment when you had that epiphany and found your calling?
Well, it started back there in the mid-90s. It was kind of a fun thing that I was doing at work. I was kind of my first job out of college was kind of this crappy job, let's leave it at that. And myself and some of my coworkers would do whatever we could to get out of the office. There was this convenience store down the street where we would often go and buy junk food and bring it back. One of the kinds of chips there was actually made in the same town where we were working. They had a couple of weird flavors by 1995 standards. Ketchup flavor, salt and vinegar, onion and garlic. So we turned this into a good way to waste time at the office. People would travel and they'd try to come back with weird snacks. The idea of just, hey, look at all these weird snacks out there. And this was 1995. No one was thinking about, I want to have a website. Quite then. It grew out of kind of this hobby of finding weird chips. And just seen by the numbers, it's grown a lot. I mean, it started with potato chips and expanded into several other food groups like cheese puffs, pretzels, popcorn, candy bars. My single biggest category among all those reviews is potato chips. There's over 1,500 potato chips that we've reviewed. Some of the flavors are just nuts.
Yeah. How do you feel about the crazy, quote-unquote, gimmick flavors that keep coming out, and especially in foreign countries, they get really crazy? Do you think these crazy limited time flavors are more of a PR marketing stunt, or do you think they're actually coming out and trying to have a viable chip that's going to make it to the masses?
Well, I think it would be great if it was the latter, if there were more of these really crazy flavors that were readily available all the time. And I think the reason there aren't is simply a matter of supply and demand. People aren't willing enough to buy the really weird stuff, at least not enough people.
The three of us might be the target audience.
There's like half of the customers. But the Lay's, they've been doing it now, I think, for 3 years here in America, and they've actually earlier we're doing it in England, this thing called Do Us a Flavor that I know you guys have talked about. The flavors last year were cappuccino, wasabi and ginger, bacon mac and cheese, and then the mango salsa. Like, you take those four, and even if people are completely unwilling to actually eat them, they got some conversations going. People will talk about this. And friends of mine will just walk up to me on the street and say, what do you think of the mango salsa one? Yeah, I mean, they're trying to sell chips. And if they could actually sell those chips all the time in enough numbers to make money on them, they would do it. But you get the most extreme responses to the cappuccino one.
Yeah.
Now, I myself am not a coffee drinker. I thought they were okay, but I shouldn't have an opinion on it because I'm not a coffee drinker. Take those and you share them with coffee drinkers. Some people will say that I love coffee. That is the worst thing I've ever eaten. Some will say it's terrific. So what they're really trying to do with that is get people talking about their brand, and they want you to go online and vote for which one they should keep. Frito-Lay is far and away the biggest snack company in America. Even aside from these contests, they're trying to continuously have new products on the shelf. Doesn't so much matter what the new products are, but there has to always be something new. They want something to get attention.
Is it safe to assume you tried all 4 flavors last year of the Do Us a Flavor contest?
I tried all 4. And I said, this is the best one, the Wasabi Ginger, and I said, this is the one that's going to win, and it did.
Wow.
Now, the previous year I actually picked it wrong, so I'm not saying I'm infallible, but so it's kind of two different things of which one is best, in my opinion, and which one do I think will win.
We went through a similar exercise. We actually picked, and honestly, Rod, I'm not even sure we picked it based on the taste test so much as we just did an analysis of the flavor, at least what we thought the masses would go for, and we took bacon mac and cheese to be a heavy favorite, and then we were shocked when wasabi won. So what made you pick wasabi out as the runaway on that one? What made you so sure?
Well, I just thought it was well done. I happen to like wasabi. I didn't think it was excellent. I thought it was good. I think they should have put more wasabi in it, but I still think it was well done. It got you the ginger, it got the wasabi. It was certainly, to have a mainstream chip with wasabi flavor from a mainstream company is unusual, and they did it well. It tasted good. There have been other previous flavor contests where there'd be a flavor that ostensibly I like that flavor, but I just didn't think they pulled it off. In this case, I think they did.
I didn't think wasabi would play in Middle America. I thought it was just a coastal thing, like people who like sushi and stuff.
Certainly a risky choice for them to put that out there, but you guys are saying you thought that the bacon mac and cheese was going to win. Well, the whole point of the voting was to say, okay, we're going to keep one of these, and they announced the winner, and then there was many months of none of those available. They actually brought back both the bacon mac and cheese and the wasabi. In fact, I believe I saw the bacon mac and cheese before the wasabi ever returned.
I've definitely seen it more, which kind of speaks to what the real winner might have been.
It's kind of like they broke their own rules. They said, we're only going to bring back one. What I heard anecdotally, that people saw lots of the cappuccino ones sitting on store shelves, like they weren't selling. It's possible what they did was they took the vote and said, okay, well, the vote said this, but they might have also looked at their sales data. We sold a lot of the bacon mac and cheese. Let's keep that one, too.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Hugh Gallen is the biggest cappuccino champion out there.
Cappuccino was the real victory for Lay's because I think it was the biggest conversation starter. The entire program was, in my opinion, less about selling those chips and more about getting people to talk about chips. Cappuccino was the runaway success because that's all anyone wanted to talk about.
I guess, but they're getting publicity for something that they're not actually selling, and that many people didn't like. My first exposure to this Do Us a Flavor was there's a brand called Walker's in England. So it's owned by the same parent company as Frito-Lay, Pepsi. And they had a contest where even weirder flavors than any of the ones that Lay's did So they had a Cajun squirrel flavor, a chocolate and chili flavor. The British really kind of outdo us. The Cajun squirrel wasn't even that bad. I don't know what squirrel tastes like, but it didn't taste bad. There's always one that's like the conversation starter.
How do you get your hands on these?
I buy chip locally. I live in the Boston area, and we have a lot of good ethnic stores around here. So I hit up the regular supermarkets. When I'm traveling, I hit up all the stores there. A lot of companies do send me samples of their products. Friends who travel will bring things back. So I kind of got this army of searchers that help out. Like I personally just can't resist buying things when I find them. And it's like I will, sometimes I'll buy too many and I'll say, okay, I'm not, until I get this inventory down, I'm not buying anymore. And usually I end up buying stuff anyway because, okay, I got to buy this.
I'm picturing like a closet stuffed full of potato chip bags that when you open the door, they all just kind of fall out.
I'm not going to confirm or deny that.
I can relate insofar as I pretty much ended up monopolizing my honeymoon, trying to find all kinds of different potato chips. And then I ended up having to buy 2 sets of everything because I wanted to bring some home for Rod.
You're still married. That's the
and my wife's still with me, surprisingly.
So, Jeremy, are there any discontinued chips that you've had that you absolutely loved and you can't find anymore that you wish were still available?
Yeah, that's actually kind of a big problem among snackers. The most common thing people email me about is exactly that. Yeah. There's kind of 2 different problems. A lot of it's available regionally, so people will move and they kind of, before they move, they assume that the snacks that are at the supermarket down the street from their house are available everywhere. And in a lot of cases, they're not. They're in this panic where they need to get this particular chip. It's critical to the future of their life. And so, you get a lot of panic. People contact me saying they absolutely need this. It's only even worse with things getting discontinued. One people constantly contact me about. You know the Andy Caps fries?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So there's now, they got the cheddar fries and the stick fries. They used to have something called the pub fries. And they discontinued them many years back. But people are constantly saying, where can I buy the pub fries? What happened to the pub fries? Why did they discontinue the pub fries?
Like it's your fault.
Oh, the number of things people blame on me. Oh, wow. Taco-flavored Doritos, one of the original flavors back in like the 70s when they invented Doritos. There's been several different, at least half a dozen different taco-flavored Doritos. They're not all quite the same, and they actually have had some like retro bags in recent years that are supposed to be the original taco flavor. Even that, people will debate whether it's really the original or the original didn't have sour cream, and you get very strong opinions on all of that.
Jeremy, back in the early 2000s, Hugh and I had a groundbreaking idea for a giant soda-themed store in Times Square. We were going to call it Carbonation Nation. It would basically be a place where you could get any soda from all over the world, kind of micro brew sodas. And do you think a similar chip store would be successful? You can walk in, you have every potato chip from all over the world. It's kind of in a touristy area, in a downtown urban center. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Whether it would bankrupt you or not is a whole other thing. So part of the thing with what I do is people are always saying, where do you find all these things? I'll often get people saying, hey, here's my zip code. I want to buy this snack. I don't know. I don't know what's down the street from your house. You know what's down the street from your house. But if it were possible to get all those into one place, that would be great. There's probably good practical reasons why such a store doesn't exist. To take all those snacks and put them under one roof, it would be great. It would make me kind of obsolete. But
that's not what I'm trying to do at all.
Let me say this. I'm not investing. I wouldn't advise it.
He was always trying to talk me down from the ledge.
Don't cash in your 401k. Please.
Yeah, so they would.
Thank God there's someone else on the microphone for the first time who agrees with me. Rod, do not cash in your 401k.
Hey, I'm a dreamer. What can I say?
Your kid's college fund is not going to go towards the chip store, the chip ship, or whatever you want to call it. Just cut bait.
Yeah, so the 3 of us would be, the main customers. If you had all this stuff from all these different countries all in one store, that would be great. But, the economy is very complex. Sometimes it's for a reason. It's not that way already.
That's why you're a chief snacking officer. You can predict the market.
I can dream.
So I noticed on the list of questions, you had noticed chickenortuna.com.
Yes. That was what I wanted to talk about. So tell us about chickenortuna.com.
Okay. The idea for chickenortuna.com came several years before I ever had the website. There's a job I had. They would bring in a lot of food to the office. And the business had nothing to do with food, actually. I remember there's one day, there's a conference room, and there's this whole spread of, roll-up sandwiches.
Yeah, the wraps, the big wrap platter.
People are looking there and they're all confused. They're like, "What's this? What's this?" That's that's obviously tuna. That's ham. That's chicken. And it's like
You have a gift.
I don't know why. It seemed obvious to me. Yet there's someone seriously asking these questions.
I think I've been in that conundrum before.
So someone was basically like, "You've got a superpower. You can just by looking know." It seems so obvious to me, and people are looking there going, "What is it?" It's like, obviously tuna. A few years after that, I decided to turn it into a website where basically also all of the pictures on there are sandwiches I've actually eaten. So these aren't things I searched for. It's like I ate the sandwich, took a picture.
Oh, that's fantastic.
For your listeners, basically what the website is you start on the homepage and it shows you a sandwich and it says, is it chicken or is it tuna? And then you vote on it. You submit it. Tells you whether you were right or wrong.
It sounds easy. It's not. You've got a superpower because I kind of looked at it with a chuckle, and then I started doing it, and I got the first one right, and I'm like, all right, I see what this is. And then I got the second one wrong and the third one wrong, and I kept getting sucked into the challenge, I was trying to work up a theory based on texture and color, and I could not crack the code. Do you have any advice for someone who's trying to beat the chickenortuna.com? What's your trick if you have one?
You can't give away the secret. Come on.
If there were a trick, I don't know if I would tell you, but honestly, I don't think it can be taught.
It's a gift.
People will look. Okay, is there celery? They'll look at the text slightly. Usually, it's a darker color. If it's tuna, it's whiter. If it's chicken. But, they could be using the dark meat from the chicken.
Or the albacore tuna, yeah.
It's just very, very tricky. I will say I'm not perfect at it. A few weeks back, the group I run with every Thursday during the winter, and we meet up at this bar and then run and drink and eat. And they put out a spread of food for us because it was our last time there. And there was this platter of sliders. It's kind of an Irish pub bar food. They don't typically have sliders of chicken salad or tuna salad. It didn't even occur to me that they could be tuna, because it's like, okay, like chicken salad or tuna salad were totally out of place, but tuna salad is even more out of place.
Yeah, definitely, at a pub.
People actually asked me what it was. I don't know why they came to me. And I was like, it's chicken salad. Like, I actually ate one, and I was like, oh, okay, I got that wrong.
It's a kind of skill you have to hone, I suppose.
It's definitely a specialized skill, but even I can't always get it right.
My favorite part of that site is where you declare that you put up that site months before Jessica Simpson got chicken and tuna confused on that, whatever her TV show was.
This was, almost 15 years ago. But I think that whole show was just an act. So basically she saw chicken of the sea, and she said, is that chicken or tuna? Big thing everyone was talking about. And I had actually just a few months before that registered the chickenortuna.com domain name. So people would see this and go, oh, you got that idea from there. And like, okay, it's a stupid idea. Anyway.
That's the great part, is that you have to go out of your way to defend this stupid idea.
But I came up with the idea. I didn't get it from Jessica
And good
Simpson.
luck convincing anyone of that, because it's such a stupid thing for you to have to defend or want to defend, but you should want to defend it.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, I have not gone to chickenortuna.com yet, and I want to go there right now, live on air, and take one of the quizzes, whatever pops up. Here I am. This is a chicken or tuna salad with lettuce and tomato on wheat bread. Yeah, it's like a double-decker setup here. Boy, it's a tough one. This is harder than it sounds. Based on the there's like a little fleck kind of hanging off the bread that looks more like tuna to me, so I'm going to say tuna, and I'm going to vote. And it's chicken salad.
It's not easy, right?
Wow. I don't have the gift.
As a food reviewer, do you worry about consistency? Do you think you've been consistent over time? In your FAQ on taquitos, you said you base your review on your own appetites, tastes, and expectations. You call them as you crunch them. Do you feel exposed to criticism?
I'm not going to say I'm 100% consistent, particularly since I've been doing it for 15 years. My tastes change over time. I try to apply some consistency to the reviews, but people can put comments on the reviews. I'm not offended that anyone would disagree with me. One of the things that is on my worst chips ever list is something from England called pickled onion monster munch, which is dreadful, dreadful stuff. British people like it. Someone from Britain who had met, he saw this review I had done and was incredibly offended. He said, this is the greatest food ever. I cannot believe it's on your worst ever list. And he's also a published author. So I invited him to write a response to it, and he wrote, I don't know, a very long spots, 1,000 words long. I'm fine with people disagreeing, and that's what I've seen over the years, is that there could be something I love and someone else thinks is absolutely disgusting, and then I get something else, and for reasons that I cannot even understand, I won't like it and someone else will like it.
I will say about your reviews, they are obviously opinions, but they are also informative. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to read the review and decide whether I agree or disagree with you, but I think you convey enough to tell me whether or not I would like it or not. Or it's fun to see when I've had and to see if we agree or disagree.
Yeah, one thing that's actually kind of surprised me over the years is, so as I mentioned earlier, I've gone to some of the industry conventions for snacks and for candies and such. I go there and talk to some of the food scientists who develop these products, and they've actually seen my stuff. They've seen my reviews. But what's even more surprising is that, and I have no background in food other than eating it, and these food scientists do it, they know what they're talking about, and they've developed these flavors, and understand the chemistry behind it, and all that stuff. And they're kind of working in secret in that they're hired by the snack companies, but they don't disclose which snack companies they're working for. But some of these guys will say, oh yeah, you've reviewed things I've developed, but I can't tell you which ones. The surprising part is that these guys will say, your reviews are right on.
That's got to give you a lot of feeling of credibility.
Yeah. Well, tell me, what are your favorite salted snacks?
I know Hugh's.
Well, we had an interesting chip versus French fry debate here on a previous episode, and I stood up and almost flipped the table over at any presumption that one would choose French fries over chips. I think chips, based on availability and variety, are the clear answer. Rod thought it was important to have a warm, salty snack. I love the excitement of trying to find new chip flavors and the anticipation of it. But in the end, if I had to single it down, if I had to pick one type of salty snack and one chip for the rest of the time, the first one that pops in my mind are Doritos.
Which flavor of Doritos?
I'm gonna go with classic nacho cheese. It's with I'm saying goodbye to a lot of favorites, and this is a kind of an instant gut reaction. So I reserve the right to reconsider, maybe do some kind of bracket challenge. But off the top of my head, nacho Doritos come to mind, and I think I would. Anything else I would choose, I'd be sad to say goodbye to those.
Okay, and just one comment on what you said about fries. Now, you're talking about fries that are freshly cooked. One thing that's big in snacks is when they take fries and put them in a bag, package, shelf-stable packaged bag of them. It's Andy Capp's fries and about 100 other brands. Hey, you're saying fry is clearly superior. It's hot, it's fresh, it's bendable, etc. But it's a big thing in the snack business to try to duplicate that in a snack bag, while obviously not really duplicating it. What's your opinion of the bagged fries?
First of all, I love chips and I love fries. I think the bagged fries they're a decent replica, but I still view them more as a potato chip. I mean, my point with the fries debate, and I'm a big chip lover, but I almost always go to something that's hot and freshly prepared, and I like ketchup. Hey, I'm a huge chip lover as well, and I just like to sing the praises of Funyuns, which I think are my favorite chip. I think they're underrated. They've been around forever. They're light. They're airy.
Have you ever seen the wasabi-flavored Funyuns?
I have not. I did not know they even existed.
I've reviewed, 110 kinds of Doritos. There's 4 kinds of Funyuns.
Wow.
This is a plain, which you've had. Flamin' hot, wasabi. Recently I found a chili lime flavor. Wow. This is what I do is I go exploring the world so I can finally find the chili lime flavor of Funyuns.
Maybe I'm just a traditionalist, but I have a hard time believing I would like any Funyun more than the originals. I just love the light, airy texture and the onion flavor so much.
So I know Taquitos has a top 10, and maybe your answer comes from this, but same question to you. What's your favorite, we'll call it your Desert Island chip or your Desert Island snack?
How many chips? It would be a potato chip. I've done a lot of categories, and there's a lot of good cheese puffs, there's a lot of good popcorns, all that. But it would be a potato chip. Probably good hot sauce flavored ones, sriracha flavored ones. There's habanero ones, jalapeno. One of my favorite brands is Tim's Cascade Style, and it's actually, I think I have it listed as the number one on my top 10 list is Tim's Cascade Style Jalapeno. I think they've watered down the flavor in recent years. They're not quite as hot as when I put them on that list. They used to be an independent company. It got bought out by Bird's Eye Foods. And you're trying to appeal to a broader audience. The flavors become less bold because you don't want to offend people, because it used to be super, super hot. There are still some brands that make them super, super hot, but there's a lot of chips that say jalapeno and have no heat at all.
Right. A lot of the Doritos right now I've seen, there's the new Doritos flavor. It's a jalapeno taste, and a Pringles too. Yeah, you're right. There's zero heat. Yeah, I guess that's a play for the mainstream. So, and then on hot chips, I'm glad you brought that up. I suppose it just comes down to one's individual constitution for heat, but I find that eventually, and I like the hot chips, but one thing I don't like about them is I just can't eat as many of them. And when I eat chips, I like to eat a lot of them. So are you just able to keep eating them and enjoying them without the burning effect getting to you, or are you able to limit yourself like a
normal human being?
Well, if they're really good, I'll get some beverage and alternate and such. What they often do in formulating these flavors is there's a little bit of sweet along with the spiciness, which I think kind of like draws you to grab more of them.
Are there any flavors that you've never seen but you think are ripe for the market, or you would just love to see or try?
My main skill is in eating chips.
Anyone and everyone who can hear my voice must go to taquitos.net, taquitos.net. Jeremy, thank you so much. It's been a blast.
Okay, thanks, guys. And that's taquitos.net. Great. Well, happy snacking, guys.
Likewise. Thank you. Hungry Dads. Visit our website at hungrydads.com. Follow us on Twitter at hungry_dads. This has been a Hungry Dads production.